Every facet of modern life is a game of influence. Corporations relentlessly plastering their digital street corners with advertising, politicians incessantly competing for the vote of constituents, and influencers crafting content to engage, retain, and monetize, all for the sake of profit. I'm no stranger to that concept. On this channel, you'll often see sponsors dig a little bit deeper and you'll find metadata, keyword tags, A/B testing for thumbnails and titles, and other optimization as a mere starting point. When your job is to capture attention, you find increasingly effective ways of doing so. That's how you grow. But layered into the foundation of online content is an expectation of honesty. If I tell you my name, my country, and my heritage right from the very beginning, I tap into a sense of camaraderie. If I tell you my background, my hobbies, and my interests, I create a sort of shared experience. And if I tell you about my struggles, whatever they happen to be, I cultivate an atmosphere of vulnerability, particularly with viewers who have a similar shared history. This kind of technique is possible across a multitude of topics: addiction, carpentry, religion, painting, honestly anything at all. It's called in-group favoritism, and it gets stronger with time. But one of the more popular and consistently lucrative topics of choice is politics. Tapping into a shared political vision is one of the most monetizable bedrock level attention hooks that never goes dry, never gets old, and consistently feeds itself with millions upon millions of new members to capture. It could be disenfranchised opponents, it could be younger generations with very little history. Doesn't matter who or why, but the simple existence of a shared political vision is oftentimes more than enough to trigger in-group favoritism and subsequently open the door for increased monetization. This is an incredibly common technique, but very rarely do we get a glimpse behind the curtain, exposing at scale just how many of the accounts that we see on a daily basis, often sowing division and conflict, are built around the concept of in-group favoritism using pure deception, with no connection whatsoever to the politics that they speak on. I make no pretense at all about the fact that I despise Twitter as a platform. What was once a decently valuable news source is now the premier hotbed of political propaganda, influence campaigns, engagement farming, and flat-out misinformation. Nation-states, activist organizations, and individuals as well at every level of the platform are using Twitter as a conduit to propagate lies, commit advertising fraud, and manipulate public opinion, with extreme damage as a result. This is a direct consequence of Elon Musk, where his initial decision to allow advertising revenue and then funneling that revenue to a select few accounts based merely on the number of impressions that they garner has now created an entire content ecosystem that isn't based on quality or truth. It's based on psychological manipulation. As an appeal to authority here, over the years I've seen extensive evidence of what Twitter was becoming. Back in April of 2023, myself and my team worked on a video exposing what was then a blue wave political propaganda network, incorporating tens of thousands of different accounts with millions of collective followers built around the concept of a mass democratic election wave. What you see in the background right now is a graphed out representation of that network through some of its key accounts, but the important factor is that the propagated blue wave didn't happen. These accounts were manufactured for the purpose of spreading a political message. But the simple reality is that just because a large number of people, or accounts rather, spread a message, that doesn't make the message real. And as if to perfectly demonstrate how thoroughly this problem has infected the world of social media, that network would go on to repurpose itself into a conservative propaganda machine within just 2 years. Whoever was at the helm, whatever the actual purpose was, these accounts were spreading a message as if they themselves were United States residents, about to vote or previously voting in United States elections. But with careful examination, a hefty amount of backtracing, and some off-platform tools, some of which are deprecated now and can't be used, uncovering the reality of what they were was in fact possible. Here's the thing though, as much as I despise Twitter, I refuse to call it X, as much as it pains me to witness the blundering delusions of a maladjusted billionaire con man, Twitter has now rolled out an experimental feature that rips the band-aid clean away from a festering wound, opening the door for some kind of actual healing by raising the level of awareness when it comes to political manipulation, and that is an undeniable positive for not just the platform, but also all of its users in their general everyday lives. It's pretty simple, actually. As a feature, the platform now showcases where an account is based. It shows the App Store location associated, the country that the account operates from, and also the number of times the handle has changed. And these small, simple revelations have sweeping consequences for the now rampant problem of political engagement farming. Let me take a minute to underscore something here and explain what these people do. Instead of posting content with value, or effort even, These people spin up an account, populate the follower metrics with inauthentic traffic, typically, or they purchase a compromised account from some other platform, and then they start posting content designed to inflame tension, spur arguments, and create division in the United States, despite they themselves being either foreign operatives or engagement farmers from countries like Nigeria, Bangladesh, India, Macedonia, Pakistan, and a host of additional locations that have nothing to do with American politics. Let's start slow. Here's an example. This is American Guy X, just about as on the nose as you can possibly get. American Voice, routinely posting politically divisive topics such as, quote, Islam is not a religion of peace. Our young generation must stay far away from Muslims, end quote. And yet, thanks to this new feature, we can see that American Voice is from India and that they've changed their username 4 times. Small account, no big deal, right? Sure, let's go bigger. This page, although it now says that the profile doesn't exist, which I'll explain in just a second, used to belong to a profile called Donald Trump is the Best President under the tag Best POTUS 2025 with 123,000 followers. Why would I show you a deleted account, you may be wondering? Well, it turns out that this handle, Best POTUS 2025, was brand new at the time and has already been replaced again with breadcrumbs left behind along the way, now hiding behind a string of gibberish with a profile picture reading local news, but the account used to be called, back at the very beginning, Trump VVON, to mimic a W, with the tagline, Trump is my president. Pretty self-explanatory. Except the account is based out of Macedonia. This one in particular, quite literally as I made the video, has been repeatedly changing their name to get away from the fact that they were outed by this new feature as a completely fabricated personality. This is someone with no ties whatsoever to American politics, acting as if they are one of us for the sole purpose of creating division, provoking anger, and harvesting ad revenue. Here's another one. Charlie's Voice Rising, Charlie K News. Quote, fighting censorship and lies for the people, for God, for America, end quote. And yet this account appears to be from Eastern Europe, as in presumably Russia. Let's go rapid fire for a little bit, okay? America First, 67,000 followers, Bangladesh. MAGA Scope, now suspended, 6 name changes from Nigeria. William Albrecht, also suspended, previously known as Ultra MAGA Trump 2028, 3 name changes, also from ... Nigeria. Let's go even bigger. Ivanka Trump News, high-intensity, divisive political commentary, and this account with over 1 million followers was also being followed by real and prominent conservative figures, actual politicians in the country. The account is now suspended because, yet again, based in Nigeria with 11 previous name changes. Switching gears, would it surprise anyone out there to learn that there's massive discrepancies when it comes to commentary out of Gaza? Because even if you consider the fact that there may certainly be false positives or false negatives in these determinations, what if I told you about Mohammed Smiri, who is, quote, a Palestinian born, raised, and based in Gaza. I tweet about my life under the occupation, end quote. Except the first iteration of the feature showed his account was based out of Indonesia. Keep in mind, this is a profile with 843,000 followers, which then posted a clarification about this geographic discrepancy, which said, quote, regarding my location, my account showed 2 things. Indonesia, where my brother accesses my account for security reasons. He doesn't manage anything in it. But the account still shows the Israeli store because there isn't one for Palestine, end quote. Except, yet again, after this was posted, the location changed, now showing East Asia and Pacific, while the App Store says West Asia. This appears to happen when the user updates their settings to disallow their country from being shown, opting to show general region instead of a precise location. And we also need to consider the fact that this account has changed its name 4 times. Like I said, there may be false positives and false negatives. It's a developing feature, and it's new. Also, VPNs do exist, which are now labeled when in use. If you want a sweet deal on a VPN, by the way, feel free to use the link down below in the description. But the point of the discussion is to properly highlight the fact that these accounts are impersonating and infiltrating highly divisive topics, leveraging in-group psychology to create online conflict, gather engagement, and harvest ad revenue. This is a prolific problem even beyond politics. Meet Alma Hanna, supposedly a 28-year-old single woman from New York. Except Alma, with her 100,000 followers, is based in Vietnam. political analysis from Mariana Times, purportedly an Israeli woman, except the account is based in South Asia, with 15 different username changes. I'm from Florida, says an account with 21,000 followers. Nope, she's from Pakistan. He's from Pakistan, most likely. MAGA Nation, divisive political agitation, once again, almost 400,000 followers, stating, quote, patriot voice for we the people of the fucking United States, supposedly. Except yet again, this account is from Eastern Europe, non-EU, which most likely means Russia. They just turn off the precise country. Here's an amazing one, all right? Ron Smith, self-aggrandizing proud Democrat from New Jersey. The account's gone, it's been deleted, but not before people realized that this supposedly Democratic citizen, incessantly posting inflammatory political commentary negative towards his peers while praising President Biden, was not some sort of proud Democrat who genuinely cared about the health and well-being of their country. They were an operative from Kenya. The list goes on and on and on. Across every nationality, every political issue, every human rights issue, the number of high-level influencers who are lying to you about what they are, where they are, or where they come from is enormous. Influencers out of Iran are infiltrating Scottish politics right now, en masse. Influencer rings operating from Turkey are worming their way into the UK. But the best part about all of it is that Twitter is often regarded as a sort of account nexus for other platforms, if you will. Many of the larger online social media influencers that you see, political or otherwise, have multiple accounts on several platforms. I myself have profiles on Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, purely for research. I don't post anything there, and YouTube, among others. But the fact that Twitter is now displaying the country of origin means that massive accounts on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook that also happen to have a Twitter account are actively being outed as international fraudsters masquerading as citizens of other countries to prey on their political division for profit. This activity harms everyone. That is, everyone except the person doing it. The only beneficiary of this behavior is the person harvesting the ad revenue, while the sense of tension, division, and political animosity increases elsewhere by the day. The value of a feature like this cannot be overstated. All the way down to individual influencers, the concept of in-group favoritism is aggressively leveraged by charlatans. This is a 1.4 million follower account, father of 5, who gives advice to young men by relentlessly tweeting shallow, ineffective, self-help guru-style trash, and up until recently, seemingly claimed to be from Minnesota. Turns out no, he wasn't, and the geotag has since been removed because he's from Kenya. Dead Internet Theory, a conspiracy theory asserting that ever since around 2016, much of the internet has died, replaced by fabricated traffic and bot accounts, isn't just a conspiracy theory. It's real. Maybe not all of it, maybe not some of the spicier claims about total government control at a platform level across every social online experience, at least not yet. But the basic premise is absolutely true. The idea that most of the traffic you see is propped up by false viewership, created under false identities, or automated by an unseen network for the purpose of influencing the public is absolutely 100% true. And with this exceptionally unexpected maneuver by Twitter, the ability to see that front and center, undeniably borne out across a variety of industries with some of the platform's largest influencers in the crosshairs, the ability for everyday people to gain some ground and finally understand the level of manipulation that crosses their feed daily has actually increased for once. Not everyone watches obscure, conspiracy-minded YouTube videos about propaganda networks. Not everyone gives a shit about the authenticity of the people that they read content from. But when a massive platform like Twitter creates a shock and awe feature that just flatly exposes the deception behind many of these influencers' identities, that's a whole lot harder to ignore for a lot of people. As of right now, the feature is flawed. It was brought in, taken down, and re-implemented twice already that I know of. But if they continue perfecting it, ensuring that the accounts on the platform can be accurately identified as per where they come from, that is a genuine good faith and positive development in the world of social media. I still don't like Twitter. I still have almost zero respect for Elon Musk and consider him to be a con man. But this feature has value. If the platform continues, which I find myself doubting now that it's become obvious just how much of the ecosystem is totally fabricated, but if the platform continues on this trajectory, they will be taking steps to undo at least some of the damage caused by having a propaganda playground where all of the worst people in the entire world can execute influence campaigns with no oversight, accountability, transparency, or recourse, and many of them make a lot of money doing it. Supposedly, the feature will be updated randomly to avoid the prospect of accounts gaming the system and appearing to be from a different location that they aren't actually from. Allegedly, the data so far is already 99% accurate, but even a rudimentary version of this has widespread implications, and I genuinely hope that they stay the course. Keep this around, develop the feature, and showcase for the world just how much of the online town square, as people like to refer to it, is just individuals lying through their teeth for profit. That's it though. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A partnered VPN deal, locals and Patreon, channel memberships, alternate platforms like Rumble, and more, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, question everything, and have a nice night.